Are we ready?
We are ready.
Oh, no.
Roll out. Hey, and welcome to Middle Ground Books After Hours.
My name is Megan.
My name is Deborah.
And I am Lance. Welcome to this episode that has to do with villainy. Okay, everybody, Debbie, your best villainous laugh. Let's hear it.
I am not good at villainy. Okay, I shall try.
Tee-hee-hee.
I shall try.
So villainous.
I'm not evil. I told you I'm not evil.
All right, your turn, Megan.
I just did my laugh.
I have a cuteness quotient.
You do have a very high cuteness quotient.
I'm put on the spot. Dang it. Okay, I have to
All of you in the podcast stare awkwardly at Megan.
Deep breath. Okay.
Okay,
I'll
that
buy
was
that.
there.
That was kind of evil. You're going to make yourself cough.
I am going to totally make myself cough.
Unhinged. Love it.
Yeah, so that's that. So we are talking
Mine was more
about
of an evil chuckle, I think. Like
Tee-hee.
Tee.
So it is. We are talking about villains tonight. We will be reading some excerpts about and from villains. I don't know if we're going to get into Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz. Is he a doctor? Is he actually a doctor?
He's a pharmacist, right?
get yourself a drink there, buddy.
But before that, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the store.
Well, the hair-raising horror book club will be talking about Bogwife, and the page-to-screen adaptation book club will be talking about Project Hail Mary, and that one has been highly anticipated. We've sold many, many copies, so I hope they have a good turnout and a good discussion about why the director did this and why the author did it this way, or whatever it is they're going to talk about. But I loved both the movie and the book, so...
And what about the mysterious mystery?
That one's not coming up until July 21st, but we will be talking about 5 by Alana Bannister. It has to do with 5 commuters who are on the same platform trying to get to London. Well, but are they really trying to get to London? Anyway, there's a mystery involved there, and it's a very quick read. I really enjoyed it, and I've already talked about it at length with Megan, but I'm going to tell you guys about it because I don't want to spoil it for the people who are coming to book club on July 21st at 5:30.
On July 4th.
Yeah, but this will be after that.
Yes, but I just, it's one of the things that's coming up. Emporia First Friday will be on the 3rd, which you guys will sadly have already missed by now. It was amazing.
It was wonderful.
We had a great turnout.
And
So
on the
many people.
11th, this will just drop in time for the 11th. The name of the book club is still the Second Breakfast Club, and it's turning into kind of a food club. So The Hobbit was the first one. We had a second breakfast.
It was a delicious breakfast.
It lowered your dexterity value. Like, it was one of those breakfasts that you needed to sleep off.
Bacon and sausage and oh my gosh,
and
so good.
Mushrooms.
And nice crispy
Bacon. Yeah.
And now we are doing Redwall by Brian Jakes. Is it?
Yes.
Jakes.
Yes.
Jakes. And there is so much food in that book. Like,
things with dandelions and other interesting things, though,
dandelions,
because all of
potatoes,
the
elderberries.
all of the characters
Lots of
are
cheese, it sounds
animals.
like.
His book, there's a
So much
tremendous
cheese.
amount of booze. Like,
yeah.
it's like
Ale,
I think
there's lots of ale.
Mr. Jakes just really wants to raise up another generation into alcoholics. Like,
I don't think so.
No, it's a fantasy story, and they frequently have ale to drink.
Yeah, and
it comes in pints.
There's, the good guy creatures like squirrels and mice and badgers, and then there's the bad guy creatures like weasels.
Mastilidae.
Yeah.
So who's your villain, Debbie?
So, well, I actually have two excerpts that I want to talk about because they point out something that appears to be villainous or evil or scary might not necessarily mean you harm. And something that the world perceives as heroic and like a good familial relationship could actually be a villain. So which one do you want to hear first?
The first one.
The one that appears to be villainous
Yeah.
and is not. Okay, so this comes from Mickey 7. This is the second book that I've read by this author. It's written by Edward Ashton, who also wrote After the Fall, the one with the character who was a human who was a pet. You remember me talking about that?
Yeah.
So Edward Ashton also wrote Mickey 7, which was made into a film adaptation when they added like an entire another place value to it and made it Mickey 17. I don't know why, but the title of the book is Mickey 7. And in this scene, he has been, seemingly captured by a creeper, which has mandible. It's kind of like a giant centipede in the ground. It's got like these huge mandibles and things.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And that's like what I have nightmares about when I was a kid. And even into now, if I have a nightmare, the creature that's attacking me is like a giant insect kind of thing. So
No,
that's what's
no thanks.
happened. So he is thinking, okay, I'm dead. This is going to be awful. So he gets carried by it for quite a long time. And he's like, okay, so is it taking me back to feed me to its young or what? But he gets carried by it long enough that he actually falls asleep. And then he wakes up. And then he says, we finally stop in a chamber similar to the one I first fell into. The creeper crosses the open space and slides its head into a smaller side tunnel. I crane my neck around. The passage looks like it dead ends after 20 meters or so. The family larder, maybe? It sets my feet on the ground, then opens its mandibles. The feeding legs give me a gentle shove, and the head withdraws. I'm not sure what's happening now, but I'm pretty sure I want to be where that thing is not. I start up the tunnel. There's something strange about the wall at the end. It takes me a few seconds to realize that my ocular is registering visible range photons for the first time in hours. So they've been traveling in the dark, and now he's seeing light. When I get to the end of the tunnel, the wall isn't rock, it's hard-packed snow. I put my hand against it and shove. A section a half-meter across gives way. Daylight floods in. At that moment, I suddenly remember being 9 years old in my grandmother's country house back in Midgard. It was a sunny spring morning, and I'd caught a spider in my bedroom. I scooped him up in my cupped hands and trapped him, ran down the stairs and out the front door with his sharp little feet scrambling around and around my palms. I crouched down in the front garden, put my hands near the ground, and opened my fingers. As he scuttled away, I felt like a benevolent god. Through the hole in the wall, I can see the snow-dusted bulge of our main dome no more than a couple of kilometers away. I'm the spider. I'm the spider. And that thing in the tunnel just set me down in the garden.
That's sweet.
So yeah, he was completely sure that he was going to be eaten either by the creature or its young. And then it took him on an hours-long journey through all of these tunnels and let him go within sight of where all of his people were. So it wasn't
was
a
so
villain at all.
nice.
It was like, how did you get in my house? I'm going to take you back where you belong. Yeah. He wasn't a villain at all. It was just that he was so different that he was terrifying. And like,
Well, I mean, a giant centipede thing would be absolutely terrifying. I would not be chill about that.
yeah. So it made me really happy because it was like, okay, he was expecting death and destruction, but no, this thing had pity on him.
And this is a fairly, this happens fairly frequently within literature, that what seems to be the evil, especially in, I think, mystery novels.
Oh, yeah. They set you
that.
up to think that this person totally did it, and then no, they didn't. Yeah, for sure.
Any other notable examples of the kind of red herring evil guy?
Oh, probably lots. Like you said, especially in a mystery, they kind of misdirect you quite a lot.
And then there's also the opposite, especially in mysteries, where there's a character who you think is safe and wonderful, and then it turns out, oh my gosh, you were the killer all along, and I trusted you.
And I would say the name of a science fiction book that we both read, and it's like, oh, that would give it away.
Yes.
No, you just said it.
Cut that out, Ron.
Yeah. Can you beep that, Ron? You can't say that out loud.
Okay, sorry. But yes.
What's your other villain?
Okay, so, and the other one is just the opposite, that it's somebody who seems like should be someone good, but is not. So I'm reading The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. It has 2 different timelines, and one of them is set in 1922, and it's a young lady. Her brother has just come back from World War I and is considered a war hero. He's highly decorated, but she and her brother had never been particularly close. He was close with their mom and she was close with the dad, one of those dysfunctional family kind of things. Anyway, the father is now dead, and it's just the mother and her brother and her. And her brother comes back from the war, and he's really not himself. He's, he's got PTSD, we would say now. Then they would have said shell shock. But as the book goes on, you learn that it's really more than that. He actually was evil. He was a commander in the war, and he was evil even to the men who were under him. And his evilness comes to her. And at this point in the story, she's already escaped from him twice, literally run away. And he's caught her again. And so they're in a car, and she's like, "Where are we going?" I asked again and again. Lyndon ignored the question. "Are you taking me to see Mother?" I assumed that having found me in the family way, she's pregnant, I would have to face the wrath of a formal excommunication from the family. "In case you didn't notice, I have a business to run. Surely the man you had following me told you that. The one who stole the letter. I cannot leave the shop unattended and swan off to England. We're not going to England." He spoke with a calmness I found even more disconcerting than if he had shouted at me. All I could see were the leather gloves he wore gripping the steering wheel and the side of his face, the bad side that seemed to melt downwards. I thought perhaps we were driving south to take the ferry from there, but now that I focused on the road signs, I realized we were driving west. "Where are you taking me?" I asked again, turning and looking out the back window. "Lyndon, stop the car now and let me out." Still, he made no sound. "Lyndon!" I said, and began shaking his arm. I did not anticipate his quick movements. He swung his arm back and elbowed me in the face. The pain rendered me silent. I cut my nose as it began to bleed. I had no tissue and had to use my sleeve. "We are almost there at any rate," he said, as though we were having a casual conversation. Well, I'm going to skip ahead a bit because he takes her to a hospital. And so here we are. She's talking to the doctor at the hospital. Here's the doctor. "Your brother has informed me that you haven't been feeling well recently. Not quite yourself. Would you agree?" "Absolutely not. I've not seen my brother in years, and his sole interest in my affairs is born of malice and jealousy." "As you can see, Doctor, she is still suffering from these delusions," said Lyndon in the most sympathetic tone I had ever heard him employ. "It has been clear to me for some time that she is not capable of managing her own affairs, and so I shall be taking over the little shop with immediate effect." My head whipped around, my eyes burned at the sight of him. So then she's like, "He is determined to destroy everything that I've worked for, to ruin my reputation and claim what is mine." I spoke so fast that there was spittle at the corner of my mouth. I had to make this man understand who Lyndon truly was. The two men merely exchanged knowing looks. "Wait a moment. Who are you? What is this place?" "I am Dr. Lynch, and this is the Conic District Lunatic Asylum." I was sure I had misheard. I don't understand. "Lyndon?" "Your brother has brought you here because he is concerned for your welfare, Opaline. You seem to be suffering from what we term I can't say the word."
Warning. Don't you dare click away from this episode to try to figure out what that word Debbie was trying to say was. I put it at the end of the episode. Congratulations! You made me spoil what's coming after the credits. It's at moments like this I'm afraid that we're doomed as a society. Anyway, back to the episode.
"Insanity, a type of psychosis that can develop in pregnant women, causing them to become violent to themselves and others. She tried to attack me in the car on the way here," Lyndon said, looking every inch the victim.
Ugh. Gross.
What is
Gross.
this?
I hate that guy.
Yeah. So
The ones who pretend not to be villains are absolutely
They're
the
worse.
worst.
They're way worse.
and like the fact that they totally discount anything that she has to say and just take him at his word because he's a war hero and, you know, he's a good guy.
Yeah. Ugh. Gross. I hate that.
That was a very loud thump.
That was me slamming the book shut.
So, before we get over to Megan, Ron actually encouraged us to let you know about our site on Biblio.com. He's going to put it in the comments down there. But we have a weird little secondhand bookshop.
A secondhand online bookshop.
Yes. And it has some of the things that are just pretty weird. So, first of all, we came by like 8 boxes of books about vampires.
So many vampire books.
So many vampire books.
It was someone at the college, right, that like
Yes,
did a dissertation
his
on
dissertation was on vampires.
vampires.
So,
Yeah.
Vampires Unearthed. Like, there is like a monograph on werewolf and vampires in Romania. Like,
Is a vampire a villain?
Could be.
could be. Like, some of them are just fiction. Dracutwig.
What?
Dracutwig. It's a
Dracutwig?
So it like the others are like academic monologues, but Dracutwig is like nobody now knows Twiggy from like this.
Yes, I know who Twiggy
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, that's because we're all old.
The model, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
but Twiggy.
she's famous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this book is about a like sexy twig model who is also a vampire.
So Twiggy, if she became a vampire.
Yeah, like
Okay.
that's.
I mean, she kind of does look lean.
Undead.
And she's always pale, and yeah, I can see it.
And so these books are typically not cheap and not things we're going to sell in Emporia just because
It's very niche
It
stuff.
is so niche. And so like we've got some, you know, some like Pride and Prejudice and some other things in there, A Night to Remember that's a nice copy, but a lot of them are just really bizarre.
But that's what's fun. It's
And
fun to look at that
villainous?
stuff.
Are they
It
villainous?
is pretty fun.
I mean, some vampires probably are, right?
So Megan, what about your villain?
So the books that I was going to talk a little bit about, I've already talked about them though. I need to find something else, but I've talked about these before, but they're both dealing with a lot of like morally gray. You kind of question like, should I be rooting for this person? Which I find interesting because it's not like clear who the villain is sometimes. It's not always so distinct. Like this person is clearly the bad guy. This person is clearly the good guy. And so I kind of like those stories, I guess, because both of these have that.
So what are they?
So one of them that I've talked about before is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I love this book so much.
And
we did
I
it
We've
for our
talked
book club.
about it a lot.
I saw that the third one is coming out in October.
Yes, I'm so excited. I still need to read the second one, but I put off reading the second one for a while because I loved the first one so much and I didn't want the second one to not be good. But I have the second one, I just haven't had time to read it because I've been doing other book club books. With Vicious, there's not really many good guys in the typical sense in this book. I mean, there's a lot of morally gray and really makes you question, like, who should I, like, you find yourself rooting for this one character and you're like, but he's also kind of a bad guy. So you're kind of like
Okay, but don't you feel
questioning,
like
why am I rooting for him?
that's more true to life?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to say, like, there's, in real life, are there white hat guys? No. Some people, yes, are doing their best. Some people, no.
Yeah. And then the other book, so these were both fantasy book club books. The other one was Silver Cloak by L.K. Stephen. That I talked a little bit about how the main character, she's undercover with like this magical mafia type situation, you know, that they're definitely bad guys, right? But she goes undercover and gets to know a character. And of course, there's like a romantic subplot too. So she's kind of like a little starry-eyed.
It's not a no-man's.
No, definitely not. But she, you know, in her head, like, has her idea of like what these people are like, and then meets this guy and sees some other things that he does, and she's just confused by him because she had in mind what a villain should be and then he does things that sometimes seem the opposite. And so she's kind of like, what is happening here? So there's a little bit of that conundrum as well. She kind of questions, like, who is this guy really? So, yeah. I always think those stories are interesting. And then towards the end of the book, I don't want to talk too much about it, but she almost kind of starts to catch herself leaning more towards villainy herself and kind of realizing, oh, that line of thought that I was just on is probably not good. Like, that's leading down to a kind of dark path. So this is how a villain is born. Like,
does she turn away from it, or does she go down that path?
Well, the book ends, and so I don't really know.
Oh, so does it have a sequel?
The sequel is coming out this fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to read something from it, or are you just going to talk about it?
I cannot find the part where she's talking about how she's getting to know him and questioning, like the things that he's done that are good and then these things that he's done that are terrible. And I couldn't find the spot in the book, so I don't really have an excerpt. I couldn't find it back. I don't like to annotate my books and like mark them up, but now I kind of wish I had, because then I could have found it. But
you need those little sticky tabs that we sell in the store.
I do.
So what do you have? I see like 3 books on your pile.
I do, and there's so many great, and I think we could do a whole villainy podcast.
Oh,
I
for
think I
sure.
could always talk about villainy, because they're like,
I feel like
That's what we were doing.
Yeah,
well, no, I mean,
but-
every episode, every week, I think we could talk about villainy.
I think sometimes the
Like-
villains are very interesting characters, so...
Well,
Yeah.
I really think the antagonist is frequently the substance of the story, and the more interesting the antagonist. But there are some things, like, I'm going to start off backwards. I wasn't going to start reading this, but I am, because it's one of the books that is written entirely from the villain's perspective. The Screwtape
yes.
Letters by C.S. Lewis, and this is entry number 26. My dear Wormwood, why are villains always British? Oh, never mind.
Wow. Okay. That was a whole comment on villainy.
Now
right
you
Yeah,
know.
we're
there.
not going to go down that.
Yes, courtship is the time for sowing those seeds which will grow up 10 years later into domestic hatred. The enchantment of unsatisfied desire produces results which the humans can be made to mistake for the results of charity. Avail yourself of the ambiguity in the word love. Let them think they have solved by love problems they have in fact only waived or postponed under the influence of the enchantment. Well, alas, you have your chance to ferment the problems in secret and render them chronic. The grand problem is that of unselfishness. Note once again the admirable work of our philological arm in substituting the negative unselfishness for the enemy's positive charity. Thanks to this, you can, from the very outset, teach a man to surrender benefits, not that others may be happy in having them, but that he may be unselfish in foregoing them. That is a great point gained. So this entire book is written from the standpoint of a demon, Uncle Screwtape, to his nephew, Wormwood, who is in the process of endeavoring to tempt a human soul to hell. And this book, written, I think, during, actually, World War II, if I remember correctly, is largely a Christian book. But there are, even for those who are not a part of that confession, there's a great deal that can be gained. The interesting thing is there are a handful of books that are written entirely from the villain's perspective. I can't remember who wrote it now, but we had the Beowulf Book Club, and there is a book called Grendel written in the 70s or 80s. I read it some time ago, entirely from Grendel's perspective. We see some of the villains' stories, or even in kids' books, we see, the 3 little pigs told from the big bad wolf's perspective,
Or
and
even
etc.
what about like Wicked?
Yeah, so there's been kind of an uptick in the discussion of villainy. I want to come back to 2 other treatments, and I'm buzzing along because we are trying to not be so long-winded and therefore villainous. Coming back to J. Luke, we are gonna probably come back to the question of The Hobbit. But the distinction between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings is one that I really kind of want to stick on a little bit. In The Hobbit, who is the villain?
I guess Smaug.
Absolutely Smaug. The elves aren't really villains.
No, they're just kind of side characters.
Well, they cause kind of a mess with the dwarves because of the bad blood between the dwarves and the elves. Thorin is almost a villain.
Right? He's pretty greedy and selfish in the end. Yeah, it's true.
That's the literary term.
Well, thief, I smell you and I feel your air. I hear your breath. Come along, help yourself again, there is plenty and to spare.
But Bilbo was not quite so unlearned in dragon lore as all that, and if Smaug hoped to thank him to get him to come nearer, and so easily he was disappointed. No, thank you, Smaug the Tremendous, he replied. I did not come for presents. I only wished to have a look at you and see if you were truly as great as tales say. I did not believe them.
Do you now?
Said the dragon, somewhat flattered, even though he did not believe a word of it. Truly, songs and tales fall utterly short of the reality, O Smaug, the chiefest and greatest of calamities, replied Bilbo.
You have nice manners for a thief and a liar,
said the dragon.
You seem familiar with my name, but I don't seem to remember smelling you before. Who are you and where do you come from, may I ask?
You may indeed. I come from under the hill, and under the hills, and over the hills my paths led, and through the air I am he that walks unseen.
So I can believe,
said Smaug.
But that is hardly your usual name.
I am the clue finder, the web cutter, the stinging fly. I was chosen for the lucky number.
Lovely titles,
sneered the dragon.
But lucky numbers don't always come off.
I am he that buries his friends alive and drowns them and draws them alive again from the water. I came from the end of a bag, but no bag went over me.
These do not sound so creditable,
scoffed Smaug. I am the friend of bears and the guest of eagles. I am ring winner and luck wearer, and I am barrel rider, went on Bilbo, to be pleased with his riddling.
That's better,
said Smaug.
But don't let your imagination run away with you.
This, of course, is the way to talk to dragons if you don't want to reveal your proper name, which is wise, and don't want to infuriate them by a flat refusal, which is also very wise. No dragon can resist the fascination of riddling talk and of wasting time trying to understand it. So, Smaug is a kid's book villain.
It's very obvious he's the villain kind of thing.
And at the same time, there's a little bit of Doofenshmirtz happening here. Like, there's some monologuing.
Yeah.
Like, there's some, you know, Smaug is not a good dragon. Mm-hmm. Like, he is not, I kind of wonder how, like, the Rebecca Yarros things would have worked out if Smaug was one of the dragons that the heroine was supposed to ride. Now, you think about the Lord of the Rings, the proper trilogy. Who's the villain?
I guess Sauron, but... I mean, Saruman also, he's a betrayer and sides with him.
Saruman is duped.
Right.
He is controlled. He is corrupted.
Right. He's a betrayer. But Sauron
Denethor.
He's really a villain.
Corrupted.
Right.
Smeagol. Gollum.
Corrupted.
I mean.
By the ring.
Yeah. But I guess Sauron is the only real villain.
When does Sauron speak?
Never.
Never.
He's never there. He's just the eye.
The looming evil presence.
It's true. He's not ever...
Do you remember that bit of rabbit, Mr. Frodo, he said, in our place under the warm bank in Captain Faramir's country? And the day I saw an Oliphant? No, I'm afraid not, Sam, said Frodo. At least, I know that such things happen, but I cannot see them. No taste of food, no feel of water, no sound of wind, no memory of tree or grass or flower, no image of moon or stars are left to me. I'm naked in the dark, Sam. There's no veil between me and the wheel of fire. I begin to see it, even with my waking eyes, and all else fades. We never hear him. We never see him.
But he corrupts so many people and, yeah.
And the difference between the kid's book where you got this big bad dragon. Just like in Beowulf, you got this big bad dragon. Like before that, you have Grendel and Grendel's mom, who's got it going on. There is no villain in The Lord of the Rings.
Not like a tangible one, like
you could say the orcs. The orcs are all just moved.
They're slaves.
They're slaves. And when the power of the ring is broken, they disperse, they run, they hide. Mm-hmm. I think there may be something in that for modern society. So, for next time, what we would love to hear from you guys.
Tell us what you would like us to read. Tell us an author you want us to comment on.
And if you want us to talk more, there's so much more we could talk about just with villainy. Like,
I mean, yeah, it's an interesting topic, I think.
Well, I mean, like a story isn't a story unless there's some conflict.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you need a villain.
And we will not continue a discussion of villainy probably next week. Are we going to be able to do the Necronomicon by next week?
The
I don't know, that's up
The
to you.
Necronomicon.
Necronominon.
What?
Everyone practice your best evil laugh.
Okay. And with that,
Until next time.
we'll meet you in the middle.
Hey, I'm Lance from Middle Ground Books. You've been listening to Middle Ground Books After Hours with Deborah, Megan, and me. Frankly, you might deserve a medal for that action. Come see us at the store at 606 Commercial Street in Emporia. The store is a little like an introvert's fever dream. You're always welcome, and we'll always be glad to see you. Middle Ground Books After Hours is produced and remotely engineered by Cosmic Atom Sound Studios, producing the vision and making a sound. Cosmic Atom Sound Studios, let's come together and build something new. Many thanks for hanging out with us this time, and until next time, we'll meet you in the middle.
No achievement. Delayed gratification. You've reached the true ending without using the chapter markers. Now, whether you actually listen through the whole episode or drag the playhead across the timeline like a raccoon checking every trash can on the block, that's between you and your conscience. Oh, and I guess that also counts the analytics that I get to look at after every episode's been posted. I see you, JR 2022. Reward? You found the real ending. I'll allow it. Now then, the word that Deborah was trying to say. Peripheral psychosis. Peripheral means connected to childbirth. You know, that thing women do to help further society, and the men are really happy to have a kid, but then they start getting all weird about it because they don't know how to deal with the aftermath of everything going on with the woman, and so they act really weird and start saying things that actually don't make sense, and it's really bad. Especially in the 1920s, because, you know, the 1920s. They know better. They know better. They know better. You've probably seen Psychosis before. Imagine that day you were at the office and there was a meeting called that could have absolutely been put in an email. But you know, the boss just had to get everyone together just to show how high and mighty he was. Or she, or they, or it. You probably call them it because there's no way that they are human. No one knows or cares what they're talking about, and then they expect you to clap at the end as if they just cured polio. Yeah. Psychosis. Okay, that's it. You can go home now. Why are you still here? Okay, so the gap here is just for the people who decided to be impatient and click the chapter marker in the description for the ending. It's kind of funny. If you want to see what it does, go ahead and click it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Or don't. I don't care. I'm not your dad. New achievement. Bait consumer. You use the chapter markers to skip straight to the ending. Humans have been trying to outsmart the obvious traps for centuries. Somehow, the bait still works. Reward? You found the fake ending. That's it. You've earned this.